Welcome to the Shootin' Show. Stand by for shots fired.
Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, and welcome again to this week's Shootin' Show. We have a great show in store for you today. Kurt Vickers has been to a very important match I think you'll really enjoy seeing. And we have our new music video for you this week. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I certainly hope so. And please, get a pencil and a piece of paper, because we definitely have some things that you're going to need to make note of. We certainly need everyone to take some notes this week. So, let's let another Shootin' Show begin. Now friends, the gun we opened the program with today, and certainly one of my very favorite types of firearms, is a Colt Combat Commander. It's in stainless steel, and this is one of the newer models. It has the recent modifications that they've done to these guns to make them more reliable and certainly a little more serviceable. The Commander is different from the standard government model, and of course we have our model 1991A1 here, which again is one of my very favorite handguns. And of course we know, let's do this now. Let's check and be sure. Yes, in fact, they are unloaded. I checked them before we put them on the table here, and you know, it doesn't hurt to check them again and again, because you never know when someone might walk up and load one of these things. We do not want to handle and look at loaded guns, certainly not. Anyway, this Combat Commander is a slightly smaller version of the government model, and a few things are interchangeable between these guns. One, the grips are, the grip panels, the hammers, and some internal parts, and certainly the magazines are the same, but they're really, even though they look very similar, they're really quite different guns. The Commander or Combat Commander model as we have today, the standard Commander, they have aluminum frames, whereas the Combat Commander series are steel frames, and of course all the slides are steel, of course. But these guns operate just like a standard government model, but there are a number of differences. One, the barrel on the Combat Commander is 4 1/4 inches, whereas the barrel on the government model is 5 inches. The Combat Commander is certainly a little bit more carryable. It's a little bit easier concealed, or if you need a smaller handgun, but you still want a pretty much full-size, powerful gun, the Combat Commander is certainly an option. The workmanship on these new Colt guns is just terrific. We're so impressed, one, with how it functions and how it shoots. Let me add that these are not really target guns. Neither is your government model. If you want a target gun, they make a model like that. You can get the Gold Cup, which will shoot into very small groups out at 25 or so yards. And of course, these guns could be modified by some of the very fine gunsmiths like our good friends Clark Custom Guns, and they will really amaze you on what they can do. But as these guns come from the factory, they're really not target guns. Typically they'll shoot into about 3 inches or so at 25 yards, and just about whatever chambering that you have. Now friends, the gun we're looking at today is in 45 ACP chambering, as is our model 1991A1, and there's going to be a slight velocity difference. In fact, we'll check that in just a few minutes and see just how much a difference there is, because you do have about 3/4 of an inch or so difference in barrel length. But it's certainly not enough to lose the effectiveness of the great 45 ACP cartridge. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we had run a piece talking about the three most common combat or defensive cartridges, your 9mm, your 40, and of course the 45 ACP. Well, I'm a fan, personally, of the 45 ACP. And as I said on that program, do not let anyone criticize you or put you down for your choice of firearms calibers, as long as it's still an effective chambering. But I'm a great fan of the 45 ACP. Out here where we live in the country, you may encounter all sorts of things, from varmints to a wild hog, although I sure wouldn't want to shoot a wild hog with a 45. I wouldn't want to. But it's certainly a more effective caliber on game than some of the others because of your bullet weight. And you know, some of you who are new to shooting may not think this is a very big deal, but the 45 cartridge cases, for those of us who reload, They're easier to find. When you shoot your gun, they're out there in the grass. They're easier to find. I tell you, I've lost more 9mm cases than I'd like to count. And your 45 cases, one is an extremely accurate cartridge combination as far as bullet and gun go together. It is extremely accurate. The capabilities of the 45 are unreal as what the cartridge will do as far as accuracy. It's so well developed. But when you shoot those expensive cartridges, especially those brass cartridges, not counting blazers, of course, which are less expensive, I tell you what, you've got to save those cases because it does cost. If you like to shoot, like a lot of us do, and I certainly do, you got to save those cases, and they're just easier to find. Another reason that I like the 45 ACP, one of the best snake shot loads is available in the 45 caliber, and that is always a concern in rural areas, and especially here in Louisiana. And the 45 ACP snake shot is extremely effective at close ranges, of course. And that's where you're going to... The only snake I'm worried about is the one that's close to me. And believe me, the 45 snake shot will do a job on snake. And excuse me, all you animal lovers, but that's the way it is. I'm sorry if I offended anyone with that. But moving right along, these are really terrific guns. They have a different grip safety, say, than your standard 1911. Of course, we replaced the grip safety with a Wilson's drop-in model on this particular gun, but it kicks a little more than your standard 1911. They will, as I said earlier, typically these guns will shoot into about a 3-inch group at 25 yards, which is plenty accurate enough. One, it's more accurate than the average person can hold anyway, and two, at defensive ranges, that's plenty accurate enough for the purposes we're talking about here. But these guns are extremely reliable as they come from the factory now. In recent years, the factory has seen fit to put much better sights on these guns than in previous times. And I tell you what, your target is so much easier to hit if you do have good sights. And this is something that can't be stressed enough. If you hit your target, you got to be able to see your sights to do it in most circumstances. But the Combat Commanders are an alternative. One of the differences is you have a different barrel bushing, you have a different trigger than on your current 1911s, on your full-size models. There are a number of subtle differences. The slide dimensions are smaller, certainly in length. It has a slightly different operating procedure as far as the way it works mechanically from the standard 1911. The barrel connecting link is different. There are a lot of little differences, but still you have the basic package of your 1911. You have certainly the firing pin safety, the grip safety, the thumb safety, and as I've said on many occasions before on our program, these guns are as safe as any handgun can be as long as they're operated and manipulated properly. If you get a semi-automatic, please, first of all, read the owner's manual and go out and shoot the gun. If you're not familiar with how the gun works, go down to a shooting club or a reputable sporting goods store and get somebody to show you how these things work, because, friends, we want to prevent every accident that we possibly can. Nobody wants to hurt themselves or hurt anyone they're out there shooting with, or certainly a member of their family. So go down and find out how these things work. If you buy one of these guns used or from someone who can't supply you with a manual, all you have to do is write to the manufacturer, call them up and get their address. If nothing else, it's worth the price of a phone call to get an instruction manual on how these guns work. And all the manufacturers and importers that I'm certainly aware of are more than happy to supply you with an owner's manual, because all of us, every one of us, need to do everything we can to prevent accidents. Certainly so. Well, let's shoot our Combat Commander here and let you take a look at it. We'll check our velocities and do some times with it. I tell you what, the gun points real well in my hand anyway. It's very comfortable to shoot. It does kick a little more than your standard 1911 because it's a smaller package and maybe somewhat lighter, but it's certainly a lot of fun. And if you like semi-automatic pistols, this would be a first choice. If you're a police officer or a homeowner who wants a gun for home defense, if you like semi-automatic pistols, well, this again would be a first choice. Certainly, if you if you need a powerful gun to protect your home with. Now friends, this Colt Combat Commander works the same, as I said earlier, as the government model. It holds 7 in the magazine, 7 or 8 for that matter, depending on which magazine you have. So we're going to put the magazine in the base of the gun. Of course, we know this gun's unloaded. In the base, be sure it's all the way in. Pull that slide all the way to the rear and let it go. And of course, we'll apply our safety. Now then, let's go down here to our chronograph. And the reason our chronograph's down here in the shade is because a lot of the chronographs do not work properly in direct or bright sunlight. So all you have to do is find a little bit of shade, and let's see what our chrono has to say about the velocity difference between the Colt Combat Commander and the standard 1911 size gun. Now friends, what we're going to do, we're going to shoot 3 shots from each gun, the 4 1/4 inch Combat Commander, and today we're using PMC factory hardball ammunition. And when I say hardball, that means full metal jacket to those of us who understand that term, and something you ought to get used to, because I hope you're going to watch this show for a long time. We certainly hope so. Anyway, let's see what our velocities are, and I want to remind you, when we're down here shooting, of course you always can see my shooting glasses, but I always have hearing protection in, because there's just no need to leave the shooting range with any sort of damage, one to our physical body, but also to our hearing. So that's something we can't stress enough. All right, let's check our velocities from our Combat Commander. All right, that one went 829 feet per second. Let's try another one. How about 834 feet per second? And that one also went 834 feet per second. Now then, let's compare that to our 5-inch model 1991 A1, which is your standard 1911 government model. Let's see what it does with the same ammunition. All right, that one went 854 feet per second. So a little bit faster than our Combat Commander. 853, PMC is really showing up today to be very consistent ammunition. And that one was a little slower at 819, so I might have had another brand in there or whatever. But consistently, I think we're going to see about a 30 feet per second difference, 30, 35, on an average, of course, between the Combat Commander and the full-size government model.
All right, people, the voters are screaming about violent crime. What are we going to tell them?
How about the truth? We're not keeping violent criminals in prison.
Sir,
Oh, no,
35
that's
states are under court order to release criminals.
The average criminal set free will commit 187 more crimes a year.
We're out of prison space.
We gotta make more. Good people are getting hurt bad.
With the likelihood of arrest and conviction, a murderer will spend 1.8 years in prison.
Yeah, and a rapist a couple of months.
I'm not in the prison building business.
We're in the re-election business.
Thank you.
Listen, just a handful of repeat offenders commit most violent crimes.
We could just stop letting them go.
Well, stop giving me the facts and start giving me headlines.
How about another gun control law?
Yeah, we've already got 20,000 of them.
It just don't work.
So my gun control plan to restrict firearms sales to citizens will break the back of violent crime and rid our streets of violent criminals. Do we have any questions?
Don't let politicians get away with murder. Join the NRA.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or television station.
Now friends, we have our trusty Pro Timer on here, and let's do our drill about 2 shots on each target under time. We'll compare this to the standard government model, and let's just see what it looks like. We'll turn our timer on, get our gun out, press the start button, and well, 1.12 seconds. And the roll, let's see, we have hit 2 pretty good hits here. This one's still been pretty good. It's a little far out, but still pretty good hits. Now friends, we have our masking tape here. Again, very important. Doesn't cost much. Very important. We'll tape our holes so we'll know where the heck we did or, in fact, did not shoot. Well, it still would have been a hit. Not a real good one, but we're going to count it anyway. All right. Woo, it's hot out here today. They said 95 on the weather, and as we do this, it's about 12, 25. So we definitely find out if this stuff works in the heat. Okay. Same drill with our government model. And again, we're shooting factory hardball ammunition. Put my hearing protection in. Okay, we'll compare the 2 guns, at least in my hands today, see what it looks like. Punch our timer. Well, maybe my reaction time was slower, but that was 1.31 seconds. So certainly the Combat Commander is at least as fast as the full-size government model. My goodness. Heck, that's 2/10 of a second or so slower. Maybe just me, but they're certainly comparable with the same ammunition, absolutely. That lighter weight just doesn't apparently slow you down much, if at all. Now then, friends, we're going to try our 5-shot drill, and those of you who've been watching the program are familiar. We put 5 rounds on the target as quickly as possible. So again, we're going to start off with our Combat Commander. We'll punch our timer and get ready to shoot. And yes, I know, we're very close. But for our purposes today, that'll do just fine. All right, punch the timer. Okay, 5 shots. Woo, look at my group. My goodness, friends, that's about 1.5 inch group, 1.8 seconds. So heck, even with full-powered ammunition, that's pretty good time. Shows up pretty well. In fact, that's one of our faster times we have done that with. The same drill anyway. All right, we'll tape our group. Heck, it's just going to take 2 pieces of tape. Yeah, I'm surprised myself. All right, take our government model and do the same drill. Remember, that was 1.08 for 5 shots. Let's try our full-size government model. Well, 1.11. Now, you figure it out. In fact, with the smaller gun, I probably should be a little slower, but I'm not. 1.11. So we had 0.03 of a second difference in my full-size government model and this one. Of course, it's probably just me. In fact, the guns are so equal that it's probably it's hard to make a comparison really as far as on time because they are so close. But I'm surprised that I'm a little faster today with the shorter gun. And we have a similar size group of about 1.5 inches. Well, friends, I tell you what, we've really enjoyed our Colt Combat Commander. Stainless steel. It has been extremely reliable with a number of different types of bullet profiles. And I tell you what, if you like semi-automatic pistols in .45 persuasion, and let me remind you, these guns come in a variety of chamberings, including the .38 Super. I've seen them in 40 S&W and 9mm, besides .45 ACP. If you want a compact yet powerful, a single-action semi-automatic handgun, I'll tell you what, I don't think you can do much better than this. The Colt Combat Commander, definitely worthwhile. Take a look at it. It's high quality, and certainly for what it is, I just don't believe you can beat it. Yes, friends, it is nice and warm out here today, but it's still a great day to be shooting. Well, let me introduce our new music video to you. A lot of you know that I've been a performer for many, many years, and we've been in the music business for longer tell you the truth, longer than I even care to remember. But we have a new music video that says a lot about how we feel, and I think it also says a lot about how most of our viewers feel all over the United States. It's entitled Down to You and Me, because friends, it's come down to all of us being able to stand up as individuals for our rights and what we believe in. You know, one of the reasons, someone told me the other day, that one of the reasons that we have as much difficulty as gun owners with the anti-gun people is that we're typically more independent thinkers. We don't want the government involved in our lives any more than it absolutely has to be. So we feel like if they'd leave us alone, we'll leave them alone. So we tend to leave the government alone, hoping they'll leave us alone. All right, the other side, the anti-gun people, the ultra-liberal people who want to literally disarm us, they want government to be in every part of their lives. So since they want the government involved with them, what they typically like to do, they get involved with the government. Now this is how some of these harebrained, lame-brained laws and regulations are being passed around the country. Is simply because our people do not stand up for what we believe in, what we know in fact is right. Friends, we have got to get involved with the government. We have got to write those letters to those congressmen, to those senators, to those local representatives. We've got to make those phone calls, because I tell you what, if we don't, well, in a few years, we won't have to worry about a shooting show, because none of us will be able to shoot anything, because they're going to take our guns away. Trust me, like George Bush said, read my lips, except I mean it. When he said read my lips on new taxes, I think he was a little bit mistaken there. But friends, trust me on this one. If we do not stand up for our rights, they're going to take our guns away. They want to start with the semi-automatic rifles, with semi-automatic handguns like this Colt Combat Commander. And these guns have literally, this type of gun has been around now for nearly 100 years. The semi-automatics are nothing new. It's just that these people literally want to disarm us. And friends, trust me on this one. For home defense, a lot of these people have not a clue as to what some of us have been through in defending our lives and our homes. Certainly not. Anyway, friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. We've worked awfully hard on it for a long time. I have to give credit to our good friend Bill Sadler at Sadler Productions in Bossier City. They put a tremendous amount of work in on this thing. We hope you like our song. It's produced by Bob Millsap, and a good friend and a very fine record producer. We hope you like it. It says a lot of things that I think that needs saying, certainly. Now, we'll tell you about, we have copies available of this video. We're going to ask a favor of you after you get through seeing it, and we're going to tell you about some tape sales that we have. So I hope you enjoy it. Remember, it's entitled Down to You and Me.
I'm proud to be an American, thank God our country's strong. But some time ago, you know, it occurred to me, there's something going wrong. My granddad fought against tyranny so we could all be free. I'm afraid, my friends, his fight has passed. Down to you and me, down to you and me. We got people telling us what to do that don't even know our name. We're just a number on some little card, and I think that's a shame. If George and Abe could see us now, bet they'd both agree this is not exactly what they had in mind. The land of liberty, sweet land of liberty. Oh, I love to hear my Harley run. I like being free to live out my dreams, and I want to have a little fun. I want to hold on to what we've got, from sea to shining sea. I'm afraid, my friend, the fight has passed. Down to you and me. Oh, down to you and me. all concerned about what they put us through. They tax and spend like there's no end, throw it all away. Just keep in mind there'll come a time when nobody's left to pay. Well, nobody's left to pay. There's people that wanna lock us up just to keep us away from harm. They want a police state to give us orders, but they can get us unarmed. There's folks that say they know the truth. Well, they saw it on TV. We got some boys on Capitol Hill, don't wanna have us free. No, they don't wanna have us free. Oh, I love to hear my Harley run. I like being free to live out my dreams, and I wanna have a little fun. I wanna hold on to what we've got, see to shine and see. I'm afraid, my friends, the fight is past. Down to you and me. Well, down to you and me. Down, down, down to you and me. Oh, down, down, down to you and me. Down, down, down. You and me. Down to you and me.
Friends, we hope you enjoyed our music video, because a lot of people have worked real hard on this for a long time. And you know, a number of folks have contacted us from all over the country, and you've asked us, what can you do, in fact, to help the shooting show? Well, here's something you can do. We need you folks to get on the telephone and call your local radio station, please, and ask them to play our new release by myself, Johnny Rowland, called Down to You and Me. Now, this is real important, because anything that we can make on our song or on our video is certainly going to help our project. If you want to help the shooting show, well, here's what you can do. You can help us get our record played and help us get our video played. Now, we have a couple of numbers. There are a couple of phone numbers that we're going to give you. Let me get my notes here. You can call in Nashville, Tennessee, Country Music Television, and that number is, get a pencil please, for Country Music Television, area 615-871-5830. That's for Country Music Television. Please ask them to play our new video by myself, Johnny Rowland, called Down to You and Me. There's another number in Nashville you can call, the Nashville Network, and that number is area 615-883-7000. And what will happen, they will help us. They will play our video if you folks ask them to. If enough of us ask, they'll play our video, and certainly it'll help the shooting show. It'll help what we're all about. It'll help our project. And please call your local radio station, and they should be getting copies of the CD that this song is on this week. It should be at a few of them already as our program airs. Please ask them to play Down to You and Me by myself, Johnny Rowland, because it'll really help our project. If we can make some sort of impact with the song and with the video, believe me, it's going to help all of us. It's going to help the shooting show. It's going to help our rights as gun owners, certainly our rights as free Americans. So please, folks, again, those numbers for the video in Nashville, Tennessee, those numbers are area 615-871-5830 for Country Music Television. Again, the Nashville Network is area 615-883-7000. This is something that you folks can do to really help our show and help our project. Friends, if you would like to buy a copy of our video, Down to You and Me, send us $17.95 now to the shooting show at 554 Kings Highway in Shreveport, Louisiana. That zip code is 71104. If you would like to have a tape of yours truly, Johnny Rowland, with this song on it, Down to You and Me, plus 9 other songs that I have written and performed, well, please send us $9.95 to the shooting show. Again, that address is 554 Kings Highway, Shreveport, Louisiana. That zip code is 71104. Now, friends, if you want to call us, you know you can at area 318-222-8515. And if you lose that number, we're in information under the shooting show for Shreveport, Louisiana. That area is, of course, 318.
Friends, I think you'll really enjoy this music tape. A lot of hard work's gone into this. They're all my songs, and hopefully you'll like them. A lot of people around the country have. And we'll be happy to take a check or money order for these, for the videotape or for the music cassette tape, and we'll try and get them out to you as quickly as we can. Friends, we need your help on this project. This is something that you folks at home can do, and please, if you would, call that local radio station. Probably we're going to get more airplay in country than anywhere else, and that's great. That's what we like. So if you would, please call them and ask them to play Down to You and Me by yours truly, Johnny Rowland. It will certainly help our project. And if you can, please call Country Music Television in Nashville, and that number again is area 615-871-5830, or you can call the Nashville Network. Hopefully you'll call both of them. That number is area 615-883-7000. And please ask them to play the Down to You and Me video by yours truly, Johnny Rowland. They should have those videos within those places by this week. The CD should be getting to the radio stations even as we speak. So please, if they don't have it, please call them back in a few days, because it's so important. You can really do something here to help our project, to help the shooting show. It'll certainly help us reach more and more people, and I think we have an important message to deliver. We sincerely appreciate every last one of you who watch our show. We certainly are so proud to be here in your homes doing what we do. Please help us continue, and this will be one way you can do it. Friends, we'll be right back with more of the Shooting Show after this break for your local cable company or television station.
Hi, I'm Bill McIntyre with another update from Capitol Hill here in the National Rifle Association in Washington, D.C. Sitting with me is Bob Edwards, manager of the National Rifle Association's Sporting Clays Department. Bob, can you tell us a little bit about the Sporting Clays Department?
Yeah, it's probably one of the newest departments within the rec shooting department, or rec shooting division. We started up last October. Starting right now working on some programs to introduce sporting clays at a very basic grassroots level to the hunters out there in the country and to all the NRA members out there.
Sporting clays, as I understand, has been very enthusiastically received, and you've apparently got the equipment to sell that enthusiasm across America. Tell me a little bit about that. How are you bringing it to the country?
Well, you're right. Sporting clays is just really sweeping the country right now, and we have just recently started marketing and promoting a unit called NRA Clays. The NRA Clays unit is a compact, portable sporting clays trailer. It has 13 shooting stations, 15 traps all mounted on the trailer, and we can literally roll out to an open lot or into an open field or a wooded setting or just wherever someone might want to set it up, as long as it has adequate shot fall zones and safety requirements. We can set that thing up in about an hour and be shooting every conceivable sporting clays target that anybody might want to look at.
Now, I'm sure a lot of the folks watching are going to want that truck to show up in their neighborhoods. How do they do that?
Well, we can arrange. What we're trying to do is, as we make deliveries across the country with this unit, because we have two programs. One is a rental and then also a sales program for the system. As we make deliveries with the unit to different locations, we try and coordinate people in that area that might want to see it. So what they need to do is give us a call and let us know that they're interested in seeing an NRA Clays unit, and we'll try and schedule it in part of our delivery schedule.
Where have you been so far, and what kind of reception have you had from those who've participated?
Well, we've had exceptional reception, response on this thing. It's been fantastic. One of the biggest things is in the last really month and a half, 2 months, we've sold 22 units. of the small unit, which is the Pro line, and then we have a bigger unit called the Pro line 2, and we sold 4 of those. So the sales have just grown leaps and bounds over the last month and a half, 2 months. People are just now starting to see it and getting fired up about it. We just had a unit at the Homestead Resort in Hot Springs, Virginia, for their Homestead Cup, and we threw over 25,000 targets in 4 days off of this unit with just 2 trappers using it, and people saw it and said, man, I can't believe this. This thing really does work, you know. That was the biggest thing. You know, they had seen it and heard about it, but they'd never seen it in action. So, you know, that right there in itself generated 3 sales for us right there at that shooting tournament.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interest following this show. How does someone get in touch to find out more about the Sporting Clays truck and the program you have?
Well, we have a number into the Sporting Clays department, which is area code 202-828-6217. That will get you into the Sporting Clays department, and they can take your name and number and address, and we'll send you a packet on the Pro line unit. And then we can also take additional information to coordinate deliveries, etc.
Well, there you have it, the new National Rifle Association Sporting Clays truck and the department with Bob Edwards running the show. That's another update from Washington, D.C. here at the National Rifle Association. I'm Bill McIntyre. I'll see you again next week.
And now, friends, here's one of the people on our program that really does make our project work. Of course, he works behind the scenes most of the time, but this week he went to a match in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It's a very important national tactical invitational match. And, of course, this is our good friend Kurt Vickers. And you're not going to be able to see him on the tape because he's acting as the narrator and the crew for the camera. But he has some really interesting things to show us.
Folks, we're here at the West Shore Sportsmen's Association Clubhouse for a practical pistol match being held just outside of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on a rather dreary Saturday afternoon. I'll be introducing some of the shooters as we get a chance to look over the course. Folks, we're now here at the West Shore Sportsmen's Association at the National Tactical Invitational, and we're speaking with Chuck Davis, who's going to give us a quick run-through of the 5 different scenarios that are set up here at the match.
Thank you. This is a training session that's set up for those people who must carry firearms in the normal course of their daily activities. We have 5 different scenarios set up to test their ability to handle their equipment. Stage number 1 is a wild ride in a car. You're actually shooting at targets from a moving automobile. Stage number 2 is a walk through the woods, and you are accosted by several armed assailants, and you have to take care of those people. Stage number 3 is a house. You've got some uninvited visitors who are armed, and the contestant has to go in and eliminate the armed intruders without hurting the innocent members of the family who are in the house. Stage number 4, you are asleep in your bed. In the middle of the night, you hear a thump, and you realize you've got an armed intruder in your home. You are also armed, in this case, with a laser-type weapon. The laser beam will initiate a vest that the intruder is wearing if you hit him properly. If not, he'll shoot you first. In the last stage of fire, you're taking a shortcut through an alley, and you are accosted by some people who may or may not be armed, and you must make a decision whether or not you should defend yourself with deadly force. We've complicated matters by having all of the entrants wear very, very dark goggles. It's as though they're shooting this entire event in the middle of the night with no light, just to add a little stress to it.
And you were saying this isn't as much a shooting match as it is more or less a playful training exercise that people learn from.
That's right. This is a training exercise. It is not a shooting match per se as you would have on an ordinary Sunday afternoon. Most of the entrants in this event are police officers, undercover federal agents, and other people, civilians who have to carry firearms as a normal course of their activities.
Okay, well, thank you for this introduction, and we'll take a look at some of the different courses of fire.
Hope you enjoy it.
Folks, we're now at one of the first stages of fire, which is called Tucker's House, and Mr. Davis is going to give us a little run-through about what this entails.
This house, Mr. Tucker finally paid off his mortgage, but now he's got some uninvited guests. There are some armed people in his home. The job of the entrant is to go in and neutralize those armed invaders without hurting the family members who are in there who are not armed and are friendly. You have to remember this is being done with these very, very dark goggles on. So it's the middle of the night. And he had his electricity cut off. So there's no power in there.
And make it as tough as possible.
Yes.
Okay, we'll take a look at this in just a second, folks. Okay, Mr. Davis is going to give us a little tour of Tucker's house.
As you noticed, on the front of the house there are two doorways. The shooter has the option of coming through either one that he decides he would like to use. As he enters the house, he comes into a hallway. The way it's set up right now, the hallway has nothing for him to shoot at. It's just a part of the problem, so he has to negotiate his way through this house. If you follow me, you can see it's not a very nice house, but it's a house.
Yeah, the furniture's a little beat up. I hope the camera isn't jiggling too much as we follow you through this course, but I think it'll give the people a better idea what it's actually like to walk through this.
All right. Here are the kinds of targets that they're shooting at in this house. You'll notice this lady is unarmed. This is the lady of the house. Hopefully, when the shooter comes through, he will not shoot this person. You may see a bunch of bullet holes in this lady right now. That's not because they shot an unarmed individual. We changed the setup for each shooter. The last shooter who came through, this was an innocent person. The next shooter who comes through may find that this innocent person now has a gun in her hand.
I see.
That's why you see the bullet holes.
So somebody can't come out and then tell their buddy exactly what it's like in here.
That's exactly right. If they're not supposed to tell each other what the setup is like, but if they do, they're going to be giving wrong information.
Okay, very good.
If you hit this person with a good shot that would neutralize a living person, the target falls over. If you just wing it, hit it in the arm or whatever, it will not fall over. That's because there's a heavy rubber strip that runs right down the center of the back of this target. If the bullet hits that rubber strip, the target will fall over. If the bullet does not hit that rubber strip, the target will not fall over. Just like a human being.
Okay, very good. Now as we turn this corner...
Over here we've got a bad girl.
Oh, a little surprise.
And the same way, if you hit her, she'll fall over.
Okay.
Now while the shooter is trying to clear this house, there are several doors. And these doors must be opened, and the contents of the room or closet or whatever it happens to be must be carefully examined, because if you walk by one of these doors, it's liable to pop open, and there may be a bad guy in there. So you have to check out every doorway, every door, every closet, restroom, or whatever it happens to be. This happens to be the bathroom. The job of the shooter is to check, and guess what?
Is there somebody hiding in the bathroom?
There's a bad guy with a gun in the bathroom. Looks a little like Burt Reynolds.
And he's also in sort of a kneeling position, so someone my height might look right over him.
That's right. You have to remember, when you check a room out, you've got to check the entire room. We've had people hiding in the upper shelves of closets, under furniture. When you check a room, you check the room.
And this is certainly a lot better way to learn those things than to those peace officers who are here than would have to do it for real.
We've had officers tell us that this is one of the best training experiences that they've ever had. And if you make a mistake here, you may cuss yourself. You may kick the dog. But after a while, it dawns on you that you learned a very valuable lesson. It's better to learn it here, because you're dead on paper here. Out on the street, you're dead for real.
Okay, so here's another one of these little doors.
This is a closet.
Okay.
You've got clothing hanging in here. As you can see, you can't see very much when you open the door. So you have to check, and guess what? A bad guy with a gun hiding behind the clothing.
Another bad guy.
If you hit him, he falls down. If you don't, you're dead.
Okay.
The scoring system we use on this is for every unneutralized hostile target, we add 180 seconds to your time. Your score is your time. You get 3 minutes for every stage. For every mistake you make, we add penalty time. Passing or not neutralizing a hostile target is 180 seconds. If you shoot the wrong person, that's 60 seconds added to your time. If you make a dumb mistake, we'll add 30 seconds to your time for various types of mistakes you may make. Here's a guy hiding in the top of the closet. Now you have to understand you're approaching these doors, and it's very stressful to approach a door when there might be somebody with a gun behind it. That's a very dangerous time in your life. You'll notice also that just because you're in the house doesn't mean that somebody may not be outside the house looking in, getting ready to come in. There's a bad guy outside the window. He has to be neutralized. As you come up the stairs, this simulates going into an upper floor of the house. As you open the door at the top of the stairs, there's another bad guy. Or maybe next time he may be a good guy.
Okay, very good. We've just come down the stairs, we're back in the main room, and we're going to enter one more room.
You open this door, and there's a bad boy right there.
Surprise.
We'll be right back with more of the Shootin' Show after this break for your local cable company or television station. Now, friends, for the absolute best in monthly shooting magazines, turn to Shooting Times, with all sorts of excellent features on handguns, rifles, shotguns, and black powder by some of your favorite gun writers, such as Dick Metcalf and Rick Jameson and Bill Jordan, just to name a few. Each month you'll find interesting articles on guns, shooting, reloading, and new products in the firearms industry, along with information on pending legislation of interest to all gun owners. For subscription information, call 1-800-727-4353. Shooting Times, the best there is. And you know, friends, all of us as shooting enthusiasts should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands and thousands of firearms bargains. Shotgun News, Post Office Box 669, Hastings, Nebraska. That zip is 68902. Their phone number is area 402-463-4589. MasterCard or Visa subscriptions only. Call them at 1-800-345-6923.
Okay, we're at another one of the indoor courses of fire, and we'll find out a little bit more about this right now.
This scenario is entitled Home Alone. You're at home in bed. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, from your sound sleep, you're awakened by a sound. You're not too sure what it was, but you know it's somebody bad in your home. You're sleeping, you're laying down on this table in bed. You've got your revolver close to your side. Your job is to take that revolver, find the bad guy who is in your home, and try to neutralize him before he neutralizes you. This is not a live fire exercise. This is a specially modified Smith & Wesson revolver that emits a laser beam. The shooter and the bad guy are both wearing vests that will beep and light up when they're hit by that laser beam. So your job is to light the other guy up before he lights you up. In doing that, you have to negotiate your home. ordinarily, in your own home, you're much more familiar with the surroundings than these shooters are with this, quote, home, unquote. But they've been doing a pretty good job. They have to come into a shower room, check to see if the bad guy is hiding behind the shower curtain, check to see if the bad guy may be in this closet or in the hallway. The bad guy has been known to lay on the floor. He's also been known to perch himself on that rod over in the corner or behind the door so that you can't see him. And then you negotiate your way down this hallway. And if you make it alive to this point, you've survived the course of fire. Okay, behind me you will see what we call Hirsch's Wild Ride. Mr. Hirsch Gooden is the operator of a particular stage of fire. That's also his own personally owned automobile that's being used in this stage of fire. The scenario is you're a passenger in his automobile. As you're driving down the street, you are attacked by a gang of hooligans, all of whom are armed and all of whom are intent on doing you deadly injury. Your job is to eliminate as many of them as possible as the automobile is moving and then as it comes to a stop. All the targets on this particular stage are steel, with the exception of one moving target in the back, which is a paper target. The smaller targets that you see back there were invented by one of our people here. They're called skippers. They're mounted on a pole. There are two pegs behind that skipper. It takes at least 2 shots to knock it down. One shot will drop it from the upper peg onto the lower peg. The second shot will drop it off of the lower peg onto the ground. It's calibrated in such a way that 2 headshots from a 9mm will knock it off that pole. You can shoot it in the body with a 9mm all day long and it will not fall unless you continually drive it. Shoot several fast shots with a 9mm.
We have a contestant who is now the passenger in this vehicle, and we're going to follow him through his course of fire here.
And he's strapped in wearing his safety belt like a good passenger should do.
Here we go.
He hit that center target, but it didn't hit it good enough to knock it down.
Now he engaged the leftmost target from the car, and at this point he's going to have to get out of the car, go behind the wall. There's some pepper poppers on the right side and some pepper poppers on the left side that he will have to neutralize.
He's going to try for that skipper target on the left again.
Okay. There we go. As you can hear, there's some gunfire from another one of the open ranges a little further down. Safety is a primary concern here, and that's why you see the driver of the vehicle, who is also one of the judges, who will give some instruction to the participant as he goes along to make this as safe an exercise as possible.
I looked around in there, I didn't see anybody holding the phone. I go myself, but I don't really.
We've now moved over to another outdoor course of fire, which you actually heard parts of while we were filming the last one. Mr. Davis is going to give us a little run-through of the scenario they have set up here.
Okay, this is called Joe Bunjick's backyard. He's got a heck of a backyard. Has a bunch of bad guys in his yard. They're hiding in his shrubbery and his trees. They're all bad. Your job is to come here. You've got 10 seconds to select a shotgun. You've got 5 rounds of rifled slugs for which shotgun you select. You take the shotgun of your choice. There are about 4 or 5 of them sitting here. You've got a double barrel, a slide action, a semi-automatic, and a little pistol. 12 gauges. You've got 10 seconds to select that shotgun, load it up, and enter the scenario. Unfortunately, you've only got 5 slugs. There are 7 targets out here, which means you'd better have your handgun with you, because any unneutralized target adds 180 seconds to your score. Then you progress up the trail, find the bad guys who will pop up out of the grass and out of the weeds. Go all the way up to the end of the trail, and there's one guy swinging through the trees up there. He's just darting back and forth. And you have to neutralize him too as he moves.
Okay, very good. Well, maybe we can take a look at somebody actually shooting this course. Okay, we have a contestant who's picked a double barrel shot.
It's not going to move.
These shooters are very unfamiliar with these particular weapons. That one has 2 triggers, and he doesn't realize it.
Also, he's got the night goggles on too, right?
Oh, yes.
So that makes it even harder to see what you're doing.
Now, friends, we've just run out of time, but next week we're going to come back and take another look at some more events on the National Tactical Invitational Match with Kurt Vickers. And we want to remind you, if you're in the Arklatex area, please come to Britton's for all your shooting needs. They're at 517 Louisiana Avenue in Shreveport. That phone number is 221-4131, that area code 318, of course. They also have a second location now on Hollywood. Friends, let me remind you, please, if you would, call your local radio station and ask them to play our new song, Down to You and Me, by yours truly, Johnny Rowland. It will be on the Sizzling Summer Singles 2 CD that they should be getting along about now. And if you would, please call Country Music Television in Nashville, also TNN, and ask them to play our video. We sincerely need your help. And we hope everyone has enjoyed our program this much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Look forward to seeing you folks next week on another shooting show.